Rhythm and the Kitchen Table. Between Yesterday and Tomorrow, a collection of short stories from Val's Sanctuary of Creativity. She has prepared well over 50,000 meals for her family during her lifespan. That is not counting breakfast and snacks. In some local culinary specialties, she could have outdone any chef. Her cooking was simple, and it also catered to the children. She had a rhythmic consistency that took holidays and special occasions into consideration. In general, she cooked with dedicated effort. Sometimes she was moody, or maybe just burnt out. The food reflected that. The food was mainly seasonal and mostly local. There was no waste. She was able to establish proven patterns and create a rhythm that made sense of life and its cycles. She would simply call it common sense. She was the ruler of the kitchen, my mother. She is one of many women I know. At noon was lunch, and the church bells announced it. At 6 was dinner, the bells announced that too. Most of the time it was a group of us, a small organic community. My mother, my father, and children. Sometimes my grandmother, sometimes guests were there too. We always gave thanks and said grace, and no one ate before then. I remember being hungry, but I don't remember ever feeling famished. If there was chaos, order was established quickly. There was sharing without condition. There was questioning and listening. There was communication and laughter. There was silence if the food was very good, when something serious was going on or when the mood was sour. There wasn't always consensus, and sometimes we all ate from the same pan. We always said grace and gave thanks together before we left the table. Memories and experiences were created and exchanged at the kitchen table. Bonding and the development of community happened there too. Politeness was learned, and there was a cultivation of a zest for life. It was a beautiful design where consistency, effort, and leading by example enriched and provided strength to all. In the here and now, this natural rhythm bound us together, creating a defense against the storms in the world. We lived rhythm within rhythm, and patterns formed over time. Values were maintained and passed on, not so much with words as with deeds. We knew where the carrots on our plates came from and what it took to get them there. Mundane and rhythmic were the days, from morning to the afternoon until evening and into the night. The weeks were structured, the months ruled by the moon, and the seasons were all loved the same, for different reasons. For the most part, I failed miserably in following the rhythms and patterns that were instilled in me. Following the known was too restrictive. Freedom appealed to my addictive personality. I could eat when and what I wanted. I did not care where it came from. The selection was overwhelming, and my hunger for the new was big. Modesty and restraint had no place in my life. I fell out of the natural rhythm. I went offbeat, and so did much of society around me. When I look around, I see many maladies that have resulted from this fallout. The family formation has greatly changed over time. There are social pressures, agendas, and a falling out of the natural rhythm. New norms are embraced. Detrimental forces are opposing the composition of the organic family unit. Table habits reflect the offbeat. People eat alone, standing up, on the run, whatever and whenever. Then there are those millions that don't eat at all. It may sound like I'm lamenting the good old days. That's not really my intent. I'm just concerned for my grandchildren. I am pondering table culture as nourishment for body, mind, and soul. Eating together, sharing spirit with one another, and learning the skills for living. The seduction of freedom can lead to retribution. I'm pondering about the value of sharing meals on a regular basis, no matter what our family structure or community looks like. Of building a sense of continuity and an understanding of how to better manage resources and expertise. To grasp the interdependence of all nourishment, restructuring is always possible when we see the validity in a pattern. Rhythm is sacred, the drumbeat of life. Its cultivation requires intent and responsibility, consistency and effort. Can proven patterns and a natural rhythm bring us back together, help us make sense of life again? Can we get to the kitchen table where we are in rhythm so no one needs to go hungry? Or is that utopia?